New York.
Apple.
Hot dogs.
Dollar.
Hollywood.
Democracy.
Freedom.
Rock and roll.
Wall Street.
Statue of Liberty.
Los Angeles, California.
McDonald's.
Jeans.
Bubblegum.
Video games. Nintendo.
What's so great about America?
Every Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m., explore American culture and language.
With Master Steve,
Ina MK,
And Hasba Cutie.
tune in to find out about what makes America so great.
The Great American Weekend. Listen exclusively on Radio Van 103.1.
Also, watch us on the Radio Von Facebook page, website, and mobile app.
Hello, dear listeners of Radio Van. Welcome to the Great American Weekend. We're here in the studio, as always. This is Saturday evening, and we are ready to share with you our theme, Columbus Day and
Indigenous Peoples Day. And Leif Erikson Day as well.
And many other holidays, I think, that are
October is a busy month.
October is a fruitful month. And I would like to remind our listeners that they can watch and listen us live on www.radiovan.fm and also our Facebook page, which is Radio Van FM 103.1. And also you can download our application, Radio Van, and listen and watch us anywhere around the globe. With you, we will be on air till 9 p.m. In the studio, I'm here with Master Steve.
And you are Ina MK.
Thank you. Thanks for reminding me.
Well, it helps sometimes, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does. So, how was your week, Master Steve?
Busy. It was busy. Yeah, I had a pretty busy week, but good,
Did you get to go
some stuff done. Yeah, I was watching the news a little bit. We'll talk about the news later. It was also Nobel Prize week this week.
Oh.
So they were announcing all the Nobel Prize winners. Well, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. So that was interesting. I didn't get a chance to read a lot about it, but it's always a learning experience to check out their website and look at all the press releases that they have.
When was this?
About all the Nobel Prizes. I think it's the first week of October. Mm-hmm. Every week they announce the winners. So it's on Monday, it's medicine and physiology or something like that. And then physics on Tuesday, chemistry on Wednesday, literature on Thursday.
He remembers everything.
And
oh my goodness.
the Peace Prize, which is probably the most famous because that's the one that most people can understand and relate to easily. And then there's the following Monday, there's the prize. It's not officially a Nobel Prize, but it's a prize in the spirit of the Nobel Peace Prizes. Well, because the Nobel Peace Prizes were instituted by Alfred Nobel in his will.
Of course.
And the sixth one is the prize in economics.
So it's a new category.
He didn't actually put it in his will because it wasn't considered really that much of a science way back in, 1901 or whatever, when they said.
Do you think it's science
a few years
now?
Oh, well, I mean, that all depends on how math, well, because it's mathematics and economics, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Applied mathematics and economics, I think, is kind of the real, but yeah, he didn't do it, but it turned out that, the Swedish Academy, and never mind. They decided that it was important enough to be included, and so it has been. So like John Nash, Milton Friedman, those guys won the kind of Nobel Prize.
Kind of Nobel Prize lights, and they don't have any TV versions or anything, right? It's just
No, a lot of that stuff would be on television, just the short announcement maybe, but in a lot of cases, it's so detailed and technical and complicated. You know, like the one for physiology and medicine this year was, I think it was 3 scientists who did work that helped us to understand, first of all, that cells, each individual cell in our body has this mechanism inside of it that can detect and respond to the amount of oxygen that's around.
Wow.
Each cell in our body. And so these guys discovered this.
Plenty of those.
Yeah. These guys. And then so the second, then the physics one was about the origins of the universe, the evolution of the universe, and kind of how, maybe a little bit about how planets came into being. I haven't had time to read all of this stuff. And then about one of the people that won was part of the thing that the group, they're the head of the group that found the first exoplanet. So the first planet orbiting a sun-like star outside of our solar system. Okay, and then the chemistry one was for 3 different guys who at 3 different stages in the process helped to create lithium-ion batteries, which are everywhere now. You know, in electric cars, in your phones, in your watches, in everything. So the first guy discovered that it was possible to use lithium to do this. The next one modified the design or the process somehow so it was more stable. And then the third one made it so it was safe enough and stable enough to actually be a consumer product. Yeah.
Great.
And then hopefully next week we'll be able to talk about the literature and the peace, which of course the peace one is global. The most famous because it again is what most people can identify with. And then the economics one as well.
Would you like Nobel Prize to be as popular as Oscar?
I don't know. I mean, no, probably not because it never will. I mean, honestly, I read these press releases most years and I still don't understand some of this stuff. I mean, some of it is really complicated and technical, you know, and the literature ones, I usually then try to at least look up the books, you know, some books or whatever of the winner and try to maybe add it to my reading list if it's not somebody they're already out.
Well, thanks for sharing.
Oh, actually, in this year, they'll announce 2 literature winners because they didn't announce one in 2018.
Why?
Because there was a scandal. There were a bunch of little scandals, sexual misconduct, financial things, leaks in the process. And so they just decided to close the whole thing up in 2018 and not announce. And so this year, they're going to announce both the 2018 winner and the 2019 winner.
Yeah, great. So we'll be looking forward to see who those guys are. And we are about to go on a break. I would like to remind that this is Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day
and Leif Erikson Day. And we'll get back on topic. Sorry, I hijacked this whole thing because just before we started the show, I was reading about the Nobel Prizes. And so I kind of hijacked this whole first segment. But we'll be back talking about our actual theme after this commercial break.
You're Master Steve, and this is
the Great American Weekend.
This is the Great American
on
Weekend
Radio Vaughn.
On Radio Vaughn. Join our show till 9 p.m. We'll be here sharing and discussing all kinds of interesting stuff, and also later during the show, the calendar of events, and of course, followed after the advertisement break, we'll have the quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. So stay tuned. We'll be here till 9 p.m.
Ina, what would make America great again?
More barbecue.
No, we need more freedom. That's what'll make it great.
Join us on Great American Weekend.
And help us solve all of America's problems.
Every show is recorded by the NSA and sent to the White House.
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend. I'm Master Steve here with
Ina MK. And we'll be here till 9 p.m. And tonight, for those of you guys who just tuned in, our theme is Columbus Day and Indigenous People Day.
Yeah, because October 9th of last week was Leif Erikson Day, which actually is not really a holiday in most of America. It's kind of
what kind of day?
Well, there are legal holidays that are passed by Congress and kind of turned into law, and those legal holidays usually the government closes down. Yeah, like Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Leif Erikson Day is not it's not an official holiday. The President of the United States, I believe, since 1954, has been making a proclamation to say that this is the day that we celebrate Leif Erikson. And that's, a lot of the days actually that we've been talking about on the show are not official holidays.
Yeah, like pizza day, coffee day.
Well, okay, and a lot of those aren't either, but
sleeping in.
Yeah, but some
washing
of these,
dishes.
Some of these, like, I forget, African American History Month and whatever. They're proclaimed by the president.
Yeah,
they're not an actual holiday, but they're a day of, celebration and remembrance for certain things. Columbus Day, on the other hand, was actually in 1971 was made a federal holiday. And so in a lot of places, the schools are closed and government closes down and stuff like that. But there isn't, okay, and then there's Indigenous Peoples Day, which is not a federal holiday, but it is a holiday in some cities, I believe. And Leif Erikson Day is actually a holiday in, say, Minnesota and Wisconsin. I believe there are like 5 states, predominantly states with a lot of people of Nordic ancestry in them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, to just celebrate their heritage. I mean, come on, the Minnesota football team is the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And Leif Erikson was a Viking, and there are a lot of people from Scandinavian countries, Northern European countries that, came to Minnesota. And so there's that connection there. Because the weather is kind of the same. Right? So that's, but even in Minnesota, because it's a holiday, doesn't mean that, schools are closed or anything like that. It's just a day of, it's not like what you would call a bank holiday.
Okay.
Where things are actually closed. It's just a day of remembrance. Like in the states that have passed Armenian Genocide Memorial Day, as a holiday. It's not like schools are closed. No, it's just a legal day of recognition of that. And so you go back into the 19th century, and there was a debate, kind of a controversy, even way back then, like in the 1800s, over who discovered America and who should get credit. Leif Erikson actually made it to North America first, and they have since, in the mid 1900s, I believe, they actually found archaeological evidence in northern Canada that there were actually, Vikings that landed there and set up a town. In fact, there were probably 2 or 3 of them, right? And this would be in about 1000 AD. So, almost 500 years before Columbus made it there.
That's unfair.
Well, but see, here's the thing. He went, and the story was retold in Norse legends, in kind of their heroic stories and whatever, but it wasn't kind of physically proven until much later. And they didn't have, it didn't change the course of history. They went over, they settled, and then they either left or they died there, and it just kind of stopped. with Columbus.
If they had Facebook, that would be different.
If they had Facebook, nobody would bother to get. Hey, I'm just going to take a selfie in Vinland, this new land that we just discovered. There are grapes here and trees, and I'm going to take a selfie, share it with everybody, and then I'm going to go back home. There's no internet connection here. I'm going back home.
I'm going back.
But it's undeniable the impact that Columbus's discovery of America had. You know, everything changed after that. You know?
Yeah, we'll see what you think after I start reading the quotes, because the quotes are also so controversial. And I mean, it's undeniable that we need to go on a break.
Let the sponsors pay our bills.
Yeah.
We'll be back
with the Great American Weekend on Radio Van 103.1. Stay tuned. Master Steve and NMK are here with you till 9 p.m.
I would never live in America.
Why not? Didn't you enjoy your time there?
Yeah, why not?
It was good, but it wasn't great.
Because you didn't know us when you were there. Join Ina MK, Master Steve, and Hasva QT for a great American experience.
Every Saturday on the Great American Weekend.
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend here on Radio Van. I'm here with Ina MK.
And I'm here, guess what, with Master Steve.
And now it is time for
our
Ina's
favorite
quotes.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for your introduction. And let's do this. Let's see. I was, when I was searching for quotes, I was like, will I ever find quotes for our theme? Because it's quite specific, but guess what? There are many of them. So here we go. Let's start with the first one.
Columbus changed the world dramatically.
Yeah, he did, actually. Every ship that comes to America got its chart from Columbus, says Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Okay, the next one. In 1492, Columbus got us all a day off school. With just 3 ships, he sailed over, so we could have some me time in October. And that is from South Park.
Well, and it's a play on that the more traditional poem. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, blah, blah, blah. That.
Yeah,
so it's a play on that, which is really funny. And, of course, South Park is just...
They are funny. Do you like that show?
I don't know. I mean, it is kind of funny.
Mean.
It's ridiculous is what it is. Like when I was in college and it first came out, the first season was pretty amusing, and then after that it just got
worse and worse.
It got cringeworthy. Yeah. It was like, really? It's like they were just looking to offend more and more people.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Yeah.
They're making fun of anything. I mean, they don't have any boundaries. So.
Yeah.
No rules. So let's move to the next one. The things that haven't been done before, those are the things to try. Columbus dreamed of an unknown shore at the rim of the far-flung sky, and his heart was bold and his faith was strong as he ventured with dangers new, and he paid no heed to the jeering throng or the fears of a doubting crew. Oh, we have a poetry.
Yeah.
Poetry
where is
quote.
that from?
It was not bad. The author wasn't mentioned, but
Anonymous.
It was quite cute, so I thought to
cool.
have that on the show. Now, the next one. When asked by an anthropologist what the Indians called America before the white man came, an Indian said simply, ours.
I don't know. I
No comment
no
about
comment
that.
on that. Ours.
Ours.
Because because before the white man came, there was no, and before the white man came
there was no America.
Well, no, there was.
No, wait.
There was, but there was no.
Not the way it is.
There was no Native Americans. You know, it would be like somebody going to Europe and just saying, "Oh, you're all Europeans." Well, actually, now Europeans might think that way. They might accept that with the EU and whatever. It would be like going
they won't get offended.
It would be like going to Asia and saying, "Hey, you all are Asians."
Yeah.
You know? Oh, yeah, the Japanese and the Chinese and the Koreans and the North Koreans and the South Koreans and the Mongolians are all just, "Oh, yeah, we're Asians. We don't see any difference between us. It's ours." No.
Yeah,
I mean, the
like
Native Americans,
calling Caucasian people all like Armenians are all the same.
Yeah.
Kind of that.
Yeah.
Kind
So,
like
I mean,
the
they would have,
Georgians, Armenians. And,
there was no radical other for them to compare themselves to say, we're Native Americans. You know, they saw themselves as, and there were lots of different tribes. They saw themselves probably as just as different from one another as, you know, Europeans used to see themselves from one another, the French and the Italians. And we're not all one people. No, we're tribes. And the tribes, some of them got along and some of them were constantly warring with one another. So, I mean, that's cute and all, but not historically
mini
accurate.
society. Okay, let's move to the next one. Indigenous people have discovered that Christianity is not inherently Western, but universal, translatable into any cultural idiom. Nancy Percy. What does she mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this seems, I don't, that Christianity is not a European thing. That it is
much, yeah.
It is universal and it is human.
Yeah.
Human. And that's, I mean, there are both good and bad sides. I mean, look, the idea, the Catholic Church, Catholic is a word that means universal. And so the Catholic Church was supposed to be the church for all of humanity. Yeah. And that's the difference between a lot of old religions were tribal and exclusive. You know, the Jews didn't search for converts. They didn't. You know, a lot of these ancient religions, either you were born into it or you weren't. Christianity was something different. It was evangelical in the sense that they thought everyone should convert to Christianity. And with that, you end up with this idea kind of enculturation, which is where you can mark a difference between the religion and the culture that the religion is in. And so the rise of the Orthodox churches, and I consider Armenia to be an Orthodox church, really.
Armenian Apostolic Church.
Yeah, the Armenian Apostolic Church. But, you know, you start calling a church apostolic in this day and age, and it becomes something else. It's a special form of Protestantism, which the Armenian Church is not.
Yeah.
So, like in the U.S., you don't want to call yourself apostolic because you're not. You really are Orthodox more. And really what an Orthodox church kind of means is that you're a national church, as opposed to the Catholic Church, which was supposed to be universal and everybody was supposed to speak the universal language, Latin. You know, these were national churches where they adopted some of the national cultural traditions and the national language. And so even when there were Christian missionaries that went all over the world even before they made it to North America. And they were trying to convert all people because the idea in the gospel is all people can be saved as long as they believe in Christ.
Yeah.
So
that's what the Bible says.
Yeah. So indigenous people have discovered that Christianity is not inherently Western, but universal, translatable into any cultural idiom. It can adapt to any culture.
Yeah.
And it should be able to. And that's
it
not,
should
I mean,
be.
that's, yeah.
So the next one is, I'm Irish on Saint Patrick's Day. I'm Italian on Columbus Day. I'm a New Yorker every day. Tamara Tooney.
Yeah, hey, everybody's Irish on St. Patrick's Day. And actually, we're going to talk about the Irish in America
and I'm a zombie
a little bit later
on
today.
Halloween.
I'm a zombie on Halloween. I'm usually a cowboy on Halloween just because that's easy.
That's too easy.
Yeah.
And too positive. No spookies.
Nah.
No scary stuff. You're a vampire cowboy.
I could do that. I've got the nice big Stetson hat. Well, I mean, you guys can see it in some of the pictures.
I've seen that one
on the website. Yeah.
The history taught in our schools is scandalous. We grew up believing that Columbus actually discovered America. We still celebrate Columbus Day. Columbus was after one thing only: gold. Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. The actor.
Harrelson.
Yeah.
Who's that? What was his most famous movie?
I mean, movie? I don't know. Movie, maybe Natural Born Killers.
Uh-huh.
He was in that. But he got his start, I think most people know him because he was on the sitcom Cheers.
He's too categoric.
So, well, I mean, that has become a very common way of thinking about history. Now it's very fashionable and seen as politically correct to always be concerned about the losers, the oppressed in history. Yeah. And so, Columbus came for all sorts of things. For gold, because if he didn't bring a bunch of valuable stuff back to the king and queen of Spain,
they'd say
he would get in trouble because
what did we pay you for?
Yeah, what we gave you these ships and the crews and everything, and you come back with nothing. We invested in you, and you lost us money. He'd be in trouble.
Exactly.
In fact, he was in trouble for quite a while because he didn't bring back the spices and the stuff that he was supposed to bring back because he actually wasn't in India. He was in the Caribbean. But then the gold and that made Spain incredibly wealthy once they finally found the gold and started bringing it back. But there were, the Jesuits came later and started converting people in Latin America. There were a lot of reasons for going. I think Columbus's aside from the burden that he had placed on him by the Spanish king and queen, he was probably just more curious than anything else. I can do this.
And stubborn.
I can sail west and get to the east. Just watch me. I can do this.
You see, people, what does the constant following of the goals and stubbornness.
Yeah. He was a very determined man.
Solutions will not be found while indigenous people are treated as victims for whom someone else must find solutions. Malcolm Fraser. You either keep the forest standing, which takes jobs away from indigenous people who need to feed themselves, or you cut down the trees, which affects the climate. In the long term, you have to protect the forest. John Elias.
Interesting.
And the last one, I support the indigenous people anywhere in the planet. Edward James Olmos.
Okay.
Done with the quotes. This is all I had for our show.
But I mean, those quotes bring up, I think, really the point of why Indigenous Peoples Day is on the second Tuesday in October, or the second Monday in October, the same day as Columbus
Day, of course.
It was not an accident. It was done on purpose. No, I mean, so it was 1977, the International Conference on Discrimination Against Indigenous Populations proposed that Columbus Day should be changed to Indigenous Peoples Day. And I think that's a pretty crappy move. No, I mean, look, should we have Indigenous Peoples Day? Yes, of course. But why try to say we should celebrate that instead of Columbus Day?
No, we can have both.
Yeah. You know, and then going back to the controversy with Leif Erikson and Leif Erikson Day, who should we promote and teach in the schools as the person who discovered the Americas? Well, back in the 1800s, a lot of the people were Northern and Western European immigrants that were living in the U.S. So British, Scandinavian, Nordic, whatever. Then the Southern Europeans, like the Spanish and the Italians, started coming, and they didn't like them. They were very, very prejudiced against them. Mm-hmm. And in fact, part of it was that they were very prejudiced against Catholics.
Why is that?
Well, and there are different reasons. You know, the Protestants tended to have a better work ethic. They tended to be, to consume less alcohol. They tended to be, a little bit cleaner and more self-disciplined.
Mm-hmm. More strict.
Yeah. The Italians had confession. So the Catholics had confession. So you could sin and then go to confession and be okay and not go to hell. And so it was a very different, mentality. But also there was the political thing. The Pope was still a political ruler up until the late 1800s, when the Italian armies from the north and the south actually united Italy and took over the Papal States and removed basically the principality from the Pope. The Pope was a prince. He ruled over territory. Not only that, but up until the French Revolution and that whole time when democracy started to spread, to become, the way of doing government, a lot of the kings and queens in Europe relied on kind of papal authority to rule. So France and Spain, the Pope would say, "Oh yes, you are the ruler of France," and there was power in that. And so people in the U.S., even all the way up until the Ku Klux Klan, were not just against blacks. They were against Jews. They were against Catholics. They called them papists, and were afraid that the Catholics wanted to take over the country and put the Pope in charge.
Yeah. You know what I think, Master Steve? Master Steve is like the little question mark when you read a text. You just click on the question mark and there's the whole information.
And I'm just making most of it. No, I'm not making this stuff up. My memory is not that great, but this is legitimate stuff.
It is awesome.
This is legitimate stuff.
Hey, Master Steve, do you think we have time for a quiz? Because we have like 4 minutes.
Yeah. But I have a Walter Benjamin quote that I want to share at some point. But let's do the quiz first.
You know what we can do? Because we might split the quiz to the next segment. So why don't you do the quote first and then we do the quiz?
Okay, so Walter Benjamin was a German Jewish kind of theorist and philosopher. Mm-hmm. And he fled from the Nazis and ended up if I remember right, committing suicide basically on the Spanish border because he was trying to escape from the Nazis. They wanted him. He was very much a Marxist, and that, of course, was not okay in Nazi Germany. And he was also Jewish, and so that was also very much not okay in Nazi Germany. But he was a brilliant theorist, and he's got this collection of short little pieces called his Theses on History. And they're incredibly interesting. And a little quote from it is, "There is no document of civilization which is not at the same time a document of barbarism."
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
So
because
anytime you try to spread civilization, like
there is the
Europeans did, there's a price for it. You know, the Europeans saw themselves as Christians, saw themselves as having the truth religiously. They saw themselves as starting to have the truth in terms of, or they had the truth in terms of philosophy. They started dealing with science, of course, navigation. You know, they were able to find, sail those long distances. They had technology, they had power, physical power over the world. They saw themselves as far superior to the smaller, communal, more in touch with nature people that they found, and they thought these people are savages. They don't have our moral values. They don't have our technology, our knowledge, and they thought we need to civilize them, even if that means killing them or wiping them out if they resist. And so
forced
we end up,
civilization.
Forced civilization. Well, we can look back at that now and say, well, that's pretty.
That's not nice.
That's a pretty crappy thing to do. But just think of if that wouldn't have happened. I mean, how different the world would be. How much has happened in the Americas, in North America, because of the European influence here, that has forever changed the course of human history. If we think of ourselves as being at one of the highest points of human history in terms of comfort and technology and whatever.
We would be so much more connected with nature, though.
Yeah, we would be so much more connected with nature, and there would be far fewer of us, and a lot more of us would die in infancy. You know, we might not have the radio.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the technology that we have. With medicine. I mean, things would be different. Life would be a lot more difficult if we were in touch with nature, like the Native Americans were.
But now a lot of people die because of that progress. The science, the chemistry and everything.
Oh, I think far fewer people die from it than are saved by it. I mean, you just look at vaccines and surgery and antibiotics and all this stuff that just keeps so many more people alive than would have lived otherwise.
What about the ecology?
Well, that's another thing. You know, I mean, our idea of progress might be catching up with us and coming back to bite us in the ass and just say, no, you know, you've been way too hard on the environment and not paying attention to it.
Oh, look where we got.
Yeah, look where we are. Everything is so technologically advanced and so comfortable, and life for most people on the planet is getting easier and easier.
And that's why we need to go on an advertisement break.
We need to pay the bills.
Stay tuned. This is the Great American Weekend. We'll be back shortly.
Come and hang with us every weekend. It'll be a blast.
A blast?
Yeah, a good time.
No, come chill with us. It'll be cool.
Chill?
Yeah, relax, hang out.
Come chew the fat with us.
Yuck! No way! Join us
on the Great American Weekend, where we'll help you decode American slang.
Hello again. We're back on air on Radio Van 103.1, and this is the Great American Weekend with greatest masters of all, Master Steve.
And Ina MK, the greatest co-host.
Oh, thank you. And we were kind of really touching different subjects and discussing the holidays and going all around. I mean, That includes a lot of things, not only just Columbus Day and Indigenous Peoples Day. So now we're ready to have some fun a little bit and then go back to our main news.
Yeah. So what do you have for us?
Yes, I have prepared a surprise quiz for for Master Steve. And now, so the title of it is, what nationality are you according to your personality?
Okay.
Ever wonder if you were meant to be from somewhere else? Perhaps you were, and your personality matches up with an entirely different national identity. There is only one way to find out. Through this quiz.
Otherwise, we would just be lost
in darkness, wandering in darkness. Okay, let's do this. So, number one question is, what are you most likely to have an argument about? Politics, whether or not someone was being rude, love and passion, religion, sports. I'm just not a very argumentative person.
I have to choose just one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Should I remind the answers? Or?
Well, no, because they're, either religion or politics, really, at this point, and
maybe politics.
More probably
from what
because
I've
everybody's arguing about politics these days, right?
Okay, definitely politics, or no?
Yeah, politics.
Okay.
Politics.
Question number 2. Are you prone to losing your temper? Nah, I'm pretty chill. What? Why would you even ask me that? What's wrong with you? I like that one.
I like that answer.
Okay, number 2. Let's move to number
No, I don't think that's my answer.
No?
What are the other ones?
There are only 2 answers.
Oh, there are only 2?
So you liked that one, so I thought.
No, I don't. Is that me? I don't think that's me. I think it's a very funny answer.
Yeah.
I like it. What do you mean?
I think you're pretty chill.
If it has to be one or the other, then it's got to be the first one.
Okay, if we're having serious answers, we want to find out where you're from, Stephen. So number 3 question. You've just awoken from a deep sleep and had a wonderful dream. What word is in your mind? Hungry? Elegant? Ambrose? Wanderlust? Bird? Heptagonal?
Heptagon. I don't even.
Heptagonal.
Yeah, that would not be a word that ever is in my mind.
Kerfuffle?
Kerfuffle?
Shenanigans.
I just like the word. No, I like the word kerfuffle, but it doesn't.
What does
fit
that
here.
mean? A piece of slang, a little bit.
If I remember right, I haven't heard that in such a long time. It's like a little.
I've never heard
argument,
that.
like a little tiff, a little kerfuffle.
I know
but
the
I would
word
say
curfew,
I would say I would probably have to go with what was the last one? The last one was shenanigans. Although, usually when I wake up in the middle of the night, it's bathroom.
We don't have that option.
But that's not an option, so I'm going to have to go with shenanigans.
Okay, you'll have to explain me what that is.
Oh, just goofing around. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 4. Bad news, you're dead.
Well, being dead's not that bad.
I'm sorry. Good news. Heaven is a never-ending buffet of your favorite food. What are you about to chow down on for eternity? Oh, I'm curious. Okay, number 1. Palak paneer, fricadelle, tacos, pho.
Oh, the Vietnamese soup. That's good stuff.
Borscht. Homemade meat pie. Feijoada. And satay.
Man, none of those are really my favorite foods.
maybe tacos. That's all I know from here.
I mean, and
okay,
any
borscht,
of
I also know.
and any of those things would get really old after a while. It's just,
even the most
same
favorite
thing every
food
day
will
would
get
annoying. Yeah, annoying every day. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I would have to say
borscht.
I don't know, borscht or meat pie. I mean, meat pie, do they mean like pirog?
Yeah, homemade meat pie.
I would probably go with that. Yeah.
Okay, but I would choose tacos because there are different ingredients in that, and maybe one day you can eat a little bit. I don't know, cheese, and then you can choose, and then you can choose tomatoes, and then you can.
If you're talking, the pizza would probably be the best thing to have on that list because you can put almost anything on top of pizza to keep it from getting boring and annoying.
Okay, homemade meat pie. There he goes. Number 5. Question number 5. If you could play one sport forever, I think that's again you're in the same heaven, eating one thing.
It becomes after a while it becomes hell because it's just the same damn thing day after day.
Life is controversial. If you could, even death is controversial. If you could play one sport forever, which would you like? Ooh. Where are my answers? Oh, okay. Wrestling. Excuse me. Wrestling, kickboxing, tennis, golf. Wrestling.
Who would I be wrestling against?
Yeah, forever.
Forever.
Against the enemies.
Well, see, that might throw some variety into it.
Yeah.
If I would be able to wrestle against different people, that would be better than,
kickboxing is also...
Kickboxing, yeah. What were the other?
Tennis?
Tennis? No,
and
I'm
golf.
not good at tennis, and I've never really played golf like twice, and I was horrible.
Okay, we've got
but
two
you know
options
what?
left.
Whoa, there are 2 left? You haven't finished yet?
No, I mean for you to choose.
Okay.
Wrestling or kickboxing? Ta-da!
Wrestling, I suppose. I don't know.
Okay, I wonder.
Hitting balls has just never been a strong suit of mine. I'm not very coordinated. So, but maybe if I was doing it for all eternity, I'd get better at it.
Yeah, of course. You could choose anything, pretty much.
Maybe I could actually become good at golf if I was doing it every day for the rest of eternity.
You would become a champion. So, number 6, which of these values is the most important for you? Family, education, equality, success, money, art, nature, comfort. I can repeat this.
No,
okay.
What do you think I'm going to say?
There'll be like too many options.
What do you think I'm going to say? Yeah, I know there are so many options for this one, but then that other one, there were just 2. You know, how do I lose my temper easily? It's either yes or no. Mm-hmm. There's not, and for this one, there are a whole bunch of answers. What do you think I'm going to say?
You know what? I think education.
Yeah. Either that or art.
Well, you can be educated in art.
Yeah, exactly.
I think if you're an educated person, you can choose the right model of a family for yourself, and then you can be educated in art and blah, 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 etc. I mean, you can imply it.
So I think education is the thing.
I know Master Steve a little bit. So we continue the quiz. Number 7, who's your dream celebrity lunch date? Natalie Portman, Emma Stone, Bruce Willis, and Kanye West.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it wasn't a date, was it? No, okay. So.
Well, lunch date, which, I mean, does that imply like romantic? Because there are 2 men and 2 women as options. I'm going to say probably no. My ideal celebrity lunch? I don't know. I mean, I'm going to go with Kanye West because I think the guy is
cool.
No, not really.
Okay.
He's a little nuts, and it would actually be really quite interesting to sit down and have a conversation with him and just see how that goes. That would probably be the most unpredictable and exciting of those four people. Although I think Bruce Willis is probably a pretty neat guy. Natalie Portman and Emma, I don't even really know who Emma Stone is. Natalie Portman is cool.
Emma Stone is the girl from City of Stars. Are you shining now?
I know the name, and I would probably I'd probably be able to recognize a picture of her.
Actress. Okay, let's move to the next question. What's the last thing you tripped over?
My own tongue? No.
My pet. Someone's shoes. The stairs. A curb.
The curb, probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the curb.
Okay, let's do it a little faster.
Okay, how many questions are left?
I don't know. No idea.
You have no idea?
Number 9. What really pisses you off? Huge crowds, being interrupted, betrayal, unambitious people, conflict, ignorance, bad food.
Ignorance.
Yeah. Okay, the next one. Number 10. You find a mysterious bottle in a thrift store, and when you rub some dirt off, a genie appears. You get to be teleported anywhere. Where are you going? Oh, there are pictures here.
Okay. A beach? What are the?
There is a mountainous view with trees and a lake. There is a urban city view of many mountains, like hiking. That's the third one. The fourth one is like a memorial place or
a graveyard. I want to be in a graveyard, not dead, not buried in a graveyard.
Like the Genocide Museum. A small European town with little houses and narrow streets. A seashore. That's all.
The small European town. As long as I can bring a bunch of books with me, I'm there.
It's really nice one. I like your choice. We've got number 11, and then we'll have to move to our break.
We'll have to go to the break. Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. How do you respond to stressful situations? I stay strong. I can do this. Brainstorm solutions. Chocolate, rinse and repeat. Cry a lot. Eat my feelings. Stress? What do I have to be stressed about?
What were the first two?
I stay strong. I can do this. Or the second one, brainstorm solutions.
Probably the second one.
Okay, thank you. And now we're ready for the break.
So is that the end of the quiz? And
no,
we'll come back with the answers?
Stay.
Oh, no. Okay.
We'll be back.
Oh, say, can you see?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed?
Adamast, what are you doing?
He's trying not to forget where he came from.
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend here on Radio Vaughn. I'm here with Ina MK, and she is grilling me
yeah, I'm
with
sorry,
these
Master
questions
Steve, I'm
in this quiz.
You.
And I forgot, what are we trying to figure out with this quiz?
Who are you in real life? What is
me.
your nationality? What is your hidden nationality?
Okay.
Okay, pick dog in a cozy sweater. What? I'm doing this for the first time.
Pink dog in a cozy sweater.
Again, it's pictures. Maybe you can come over here, Steve. Pick a dog.
I don't like animals with clothes on.
Yeah, I don't either. And the first 3 dogs are little. I don't know the breeds, but they're like ugly little dogs.
I don't like little dogs. Is there a big?
There is a big
dog?
and really nice one. I picked that one.
Okay, all right. I will trust your. I will trust your.
I
judgment.
hope that the whole quiz is not just me describing the pictures.
Describing pictures to me.
Number 13, and this is my favorite number. Guess why? How many dirty dishes are in your sink right now? None. My house is clean. Always and forever. Just a few. And number 3, too many to count. I can't even see the bottom of my sink.
Just a few.
Just a few. Because there are kids around and it's always so natural to have the dishes. Number 14, what would be your dream vacation? Oh, no pictures, please. Okay. All-inclusive resort. Camping in the mountains. Disney theme park. Skiing in Colorado.
Oh.
I guess you're thinking between camping in the mountains and skiing in Colorado?
Or Disney. I mean, if I'm taking the kids with me.
That depends.
But okay, I'm going to assume that it's me by myself.
Okay.
So, camping in the mountains.
Here we go. Number 15, pick the cutest baby. Oh, no.
Okay, I got to come over and look at this.
Oh, yeah. You have to take a look at that. Here are the babies.
So we've got 4 of them here. And I like this.
All kids are nice, cute.
I like this little girl with food all over on her face.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to go with.
And she has a cute
little
smile.
Messy eater. She's got her mouth open. And she's got food all over on her cheeks and her chin.
Oh, we have question without pictures. Thank you, God. Number 16. How patient are you? Very patient. I'm cool as a cucumber. Pretty patient, but it depends on the situation. Number 3. Not patient at all. I have no chill. Well, we answered this question before.
With the temper. So I would say the second one.
Yeah, depends on the
Yeah, it depends on. I'm usually pretty cool, but it depends on the situation.
Of course. Number 17. What's your favorite thing to do on a Saturday morning? Sleep, lay in bed and drink coffee, get brunch with friends, clean my house and get ready for my day.
Sleep.
Yeah, totally agree on this one.
Sleep in.
Number 18. What's your go-to drink? Martini, white wine, red wine, beer, whiskey sour, gin and tonic.
Oh wow! It all depends. In the summer, if it's hot out, then a gin and tonic.
What comes first to your mind?
It really
right
depends.
Now.
I don't like mixed drinks right now. Beer.
Yeah, that's what
beer.
I thought.
And these days there's more variety in beer than
than it used to.
In a lot of things. So yeah.
Number 19. Last question. How would you rate this quiz?
Too long.
I loved it. It was pretty okay. Not great.
It was pretty okay.
Okay.
It was pretty okay.
I wonder what does have to do with the nationality. Show me results. We're ready and we have 1.5 minutes. Hold tight. We are. Okay, let's see. Master Steve.
Where should I have been from?
You may be considered an extrovert and let it never be said that you're not passionate. A combination that can result in the occasional argument or two. When you get into something, you become obsessed with it, whether it's a book, a TV show, or a new hobby. Always up for a good time. You make friends wherever you go. Be sure to share your results with your friends. We gotta know that they have to say about what in the world.
But wait, where am I supposed to be from?
Hey, there you go. Sorry. Your personality is Turkish.
What? How is that Turkish?
Because you make friends anywhere you go. Yeah, right. Let me not agree on this one. This was a funny quiz. Master Steve, confess. Do you have Turkish roots?
No.
Well,
Italian, Dutch, and Polish.
This is what I was
Italian, Dutch, and
expecting
Polish.
to have. But,
Which, by the way, October is Italian Heritage Month. Italian American Heritage Month.
Oh, well, online quizzes are not always accurate. So we will stick for Italian. And now we need to go on a break. And we'll be back. And we
got the news next? We got the news, or are we doing slang? I don't know. We'll decide during the commercial break. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Hey, where are you off to?
I'm playing soccer.
You lost your sock?
No, I'm playing soccer. What you call football?
No, you don't say soccer. You say football.
Join us on the Great American Weekend and learn about different sports from America and around the world.
We're back. We're back with our Great American Weekend here on Radio Van with Master Steve.
And Ina MK. And Ina, why don't you start us off with some local news?
Sure. Let's do this. Let's forget about the weird quiz and move to the real stuff. Okay, so there's a buzz around and everybody keeps talking about Kardashian and Kanye West family.
Is Kanye here? He's not here, is he? It's just Kim.
He is.
Is he here?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I can have lunch with him.
Yeah. Sure. There you go. And so everybody's haunting the family around to have pictures, selfies, and to following their schedules. But one of the most important things that happened with them here in Armenia was that a superstar, Kim Kardashian West, and her sister, Kourtney Kardashian, baptized their children in the Mother Sea of Holy Etchmiadzin.
Oh, cool.
Imagine?
Okay.
No special ceremony has taken place. Like all other families, they also were registered in advance and came here as scheduled. Kim Kardashian West arrived in Armenia together with sister Kourtney Kardashian and children. So Kanye's not here, I guess. Kim Kardashian West will be a special keynote speaker, and she actually already was, and panelist at the 23rd World Congress on Information Technology, WCIT. Also, WCITs everywhere.
Yeah, it's been everywhere this week, which I think is also why the internet has been really slow this week.
Yeah.
Just horrible internet this week.
It is. It truly is. Which will take place in Armenia from October 6th through 9th this year. So Kim Kardashian West visited Armenia for the first time in April 2015 together with spouse Kanye West and sister Khloe Kardashian. They visited the Armenian Genocide Memorial in Yerevan to pay tribute to the memory of the innocent victims. So here are highlights of Kardashian family adventures, part 2 in Armenia. And now I'd like to talk about Armenian Summit of Minds, which is announced for 2020. President of Armenia, Armen Sarkisian, has held a meeting on October 6th with Thierry Malloret, the founder of the Summit of Minds, the annual flagship event of the monthly barometer. Thierry Mallard, I'm wondering if I'm pronouncing this correctly, that his name is the co-founder and principal author of the monthly barometer. During the meeting in Switzerland, Sarkisian and Mallard discussed the preparations of the Armenian Summit of Minds in 2020. The second Armenian Summit of Minds will take place on June 7th, 2020 in Dilijan and Yerevan. The main discussions will evolve around the 21st century geopolitical realities, new technologies, and artificial intelligence. Aforementioned, we have a post by Master Steve in our group. So if you're interested, what he does think about artificial intelligence, just scroll down a little bit.
It's a scam. No, I'm being cynical, but yeah. Well, actually, so is that all you have for the news right now? Then why don't we go into? I could do news and talk about impeachment, but really, there's still not anything actually happening with impeachment.
I think the impeachment and the Mueller report are cousins.
Oh, they definitely are. And I mean, so Congress is investigating and they're trying to have people come in to testify. And Trump is basically trying to shut all of this down. So anybody that he can influence to not have them show up to speak in front of these congressional hearings on impeachment, he's telling them not to. And I don't think anyone's been subpoenaed yet, which means that they would be legally obligated to come and could be like found in contempt of Congress, which is kind of a crime if they don't show up. But, you know, Trump puts forward this argument that they haven't voted as a Congress to start the impeachment investigation yet. And so this investigation is not really legitimate. He has a point. In the past, whenever they've started an impeachment investigation, they have voted beforehand. But in the past, the majority leader of Congress didn't always have the power to subpoena people. And now those rules in Congress have changed several years ago between the Clinton impeachment stuff and today. Actually, it was a while back anyway. The Republicans did it, not the Democrats, and blah, 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 blah. And so it's debatable whether or not there needs to be a vote in Congress to start this, for it to be legitimate. And then even so, after they do the investigation, then the entire House has to vote on articles of impeachment. And then that is sent to the Senate. And the Senate then has to hold a trial with the Chief Justice presiding over the proceedings, and there are lawyers involved in this and that, and there's a lot of details. And then the president at that point is impeached, but the trial is about whether or not he should be basically removed from office. And the Senate, and the Senate acts as the jury, and 67 of them have to vote to find him basically guilty. But he doesn't have to be guilty of a crime. He can be guilty of just, not upholding the Constitution, which is not a specific crime in itself. It would just be like, say, abuse of power or something. And then he would have to, then he would be kicked out. So really, until Congress passes the articles of impeachment, nothing is really happening. It's just people arguing and trying to get evidence and this and that. And so it's still just a lot of blah, 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 blah.
Master Steve, I miss the slang.
Yeah,
segment.
We'll do that. Well, should we get, can I, the first one that I had on was artificial intelligence on the list because of the WCIT here.
We're about to go to a break. And we'll be back shortly with our Master Steve doing the slang segment. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to the Great American Weekend. Today...
Steve, who is that?
I think we've been infiltrated by a Russian radio host.
Learn about American politics on the Great American Weekend.
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend. That song.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I should be doing the slang.
Yeah.
But that song.
Yeah.
So U2 is one of my favorite bands. Like, especially like my favorite band that's active right now. And it's so funny because rock and roll is an American thing.
Yeah.
Right? Rock and roll was born in America, but some of the best bands of all time have not been American.
One of the best things that America gave birth to.
Yeah, that the rest of the world sometimes kind of does better. You know, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Who, who else? Well, U2, Radiohead. I mean, these are great.
Radiohead also.
Yeah. So anyway, this song is, I love most of their stuff. And they're very political in a lot of ways. But there's this song just hits me real funny in some ways. You know, there's the line in there, it's not a place. This is a dream the whole world owns.
Oh.
Really?
That's a good one.
So America is not a place. It's a dream that the whole world owns.
That the whole world can have.
Lay claim to. Mm-hmm. And that kind of starts to become this whole, what happens to the Americans? I mean, it seems so funny to me that everybody around the world can lay claim to America and the ideals of democracy and freedom and all of this kind of stuff, and then turn around and kind of tell America what they should do, as if they should expect something from America, as if America has some sort of obligation or responsibility to the rest of the world. I mean, that's part of what's going on right now. Trump is pulling the news. Trump is saying that he's going to start pulling troops out of Syria that were and pulling out support from the Kurdish rebels there. And Turkey is going in, and oh man, this is going to get ugly. And people are criticizing the U.S. for that. But you shouldn't be surprised, because Trump really is an isolationist. So unless the U.S. has a specific military goal, he wants the troops out.
It's because America is a dream that everybody owns.
Yeah. Well, we should stay there and we should protect the Kurds.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
really?
Do we have an obligation to do that? I mean, it might be a nice thing to do because they helped eliminate ISIS, right? Or, get rid of the caliphate.
But do you think that's really what it means?
What do we have in terms of an obligation to be there? And that's debatable. I don't know, but that Trump is pulling out and saying, gone, it's very much something that he would do. And it's very much something that a lot of Americans want him to do. Why do we have to have our soldiers over there? Why do we still have soldiers in Iraq? Why do we still have soldiers in Afghanistan? Well, because we kind of started that mess,
Feeling responsible.
But also, at what point do we just have to say, let's get out? And maybe it's somebody else's, and maybe it's somebody else's responsibility. If these countries and their neighbors can't get along, how is America supposed to stay there almost indefinitely and make them? Anyway, but that kind of gets away from the song. I would have a lot to say about that song and about she wants me to do slang, but just the whole relationship between U2, especially being an Irish band, and their fixation with America and the influence they've had on America. It's interesting. I'll share a quote on the Facebook page from an interview that Bono and the Edge from U2 gave with Rolling Stone India. I'll share a quote and maybe people can comment on it. I think it's interesting. Anyway, so on to kind of in honor of the WCIT being here, the slang and terminology is going to be technology kind of stuff. And I should start off by talking about the term Luddite.
What?
Okay, Luddite.
Luddite?
Yeah. Early 1800s in England, they were starting to get machinery into the fabric and textile industry that was taking away people's jobs. And these guys would go around and smash the machinery. They hated the technology. They would smash the machinery in order to destroy it so that they could kind of save their jobs or whatever. There was apparently, it's just myth. There was no guy named Ludd. His last name was Ludd in the myth, the story. They can't find any real evidence of this person, but they were called Luddites.
Luddites.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
so,
now
and
I
now
see
in
where
yeah,
that
and
comes
now
from.
in modern terms, somebody who doesn't like technology or is resistant
They call
to technology, you call them a Luddite.
Luddite. I like that.
And I am increasingly becoming a Luddite.
We all should become at some point, I think, if the world moves to the direction it
But yeah,
is.
artificial intelligence, I mean, I guess you could read my post that I shared.
Yeah, I did.
You know, intelligence is just the way it's defined, and to make that something that a computer could do, we're not even sure what makes humans intelligent. So to think that we can create intelligence, whatever. But artificial intelligence is intelligence in something that has been created by human beings. So a computer, an algorithm, all this different sort of stuff. Autonomous vehicles, which it would be vehicles that drive themselves, which would then end up having to be, reliant on artificial intelligence. That scares me.
That all evolves
That scares
around.
me.
Sometimes machines will rule over people.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think they can be intelligent because we fool ourselves, I think, when we think that machines can be intelligent.
What if they have some error in them or something?
Well, yeah,
I don't know.
So wearables? What are wearables?
Wearables?
Yeah.
Wearable clothes?
Well, no, this is technology that you wear.
Okay.
The most common is
Watch.
a smartwatch, like the
Smartwatch.
Apple Watch. Okay? But it would be any sort of device, and that's another one. Device. Yeah. I mean, it used to be you had your laptop and your phone and a tablet, and now we have smartwatches, and we've got glasses, like. All this. So
which take us
just
to a different world.
The general term now is just your devices. So anything electronical which is usually connected to the internet, we just call them devices. So we've got the Internet of Things, which is supposed to be creating smart environments. It's all of these little devices around us, like thermostats that are connected to the internet, all of these different things that help us manipulate or be aware of our environment around us, that are all connected.
Be aware and away at the same time.
Be aware and away, and also just to manipulate the environment around us. And all of that is connected to the internet, so it's the Internet of Things. Contactless payments, or like tap to pay.
Yeah.
So with your phone, you can have an app on it, and you just set it next to the machine.
Access to anywhere.
And it's,
and anything.
You can just pull your phone out of your pocket and set it next to the little card reading machine, and bing! Oh, I just paid for it.
Yeah.
You don't have to touch anything.
And the last one, I guess.
Oh, the last one? Oh, I've got a few, but okay, we don't have much time. I'll do this one because I like it. Easter eggs. When it comes to technology,
okay,
Easter eggs are little surprises that are put into.
I know, in the game.
Yeah,
for instance,
like in games or in software or whatever, little Easter eggs.
Like in Mario game, where there was this hidden thing, which was out of standard.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
I'm like, I know that one. Hey, thank you very much, Master Steve. I think tonight's episode is much educative. So make sure you guys, if you missed this, just check out the recording later on Monday. Now we're ready for a break, and then right after that we'll
be back with our calendar of events, and then we'll be saying goodnight.
Վարչապետ Նիկոլ Փաշինյանը հեռախոսազրույց է ունեցել Ղազախստանի նախագահ Նուրսուլտան Նազարբաևի հետ.
Oh, could they just speak a little bit slower?
Don't worry. You can catch local news, events, and culture in English every Saturday on Great American Weekend.
Welcome back to the Great American Weekend here on Radio Vaughn. I am Master Steve, and I'm here with Ina MK. And we've come to the final segment of our episode for this week. So,
calendar of events.
That means the calendar of events.
Here we go.
This week at the American Corner in Yerevan, we will have the Art and Conversation Club on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Again, if you're interested in art and you'd like to discuss the life or the work of your favorite artists, join this new club with Jim Daly, Art in Conversation. It is every Tuesday at 1 p.m. They will have an announcement on Facebook to tell everybody what the theme is. An intermediate to advanced level of English is required for this, but you don't need to have any special background in art, just an appreciation for it. The reading club will be going on this week as well. If you enjoy a good story and want to expand your vocabulary as well as practice your listening and speaking skills, join the Yerevan American Corners Reading Club with Clark Long. It's every Tuesday at 3 p.m. And again, we will share the announcement when they tell us what the reading material is for this week.
Thank you, Master Steve. And now let's move to movies in English at Kino Park Yerevan Mall, October 13th through 16th. So Joker, as I mentioned before, it's
that one's still playing because I want to try to go see it.
Yeah, it's still playing, Master Steve, and it's every day from 13th to 16th at 5:30 p.m. American psychological thriller film. Make sure you watch this one. I really recommend. Abominable, 2019 computer animated adventure film. I watched this one with my son.
What is it about? Is it about a Yeti?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so cute. And you know what? I keep crying during these cartoons. I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, Sasha, he made it. And my son's looking like, Mom, what's wrong with you? Okay.
He's a Yeti. Of course he's going to make it. He's big, he's huge, he's strong. What do you expect, Mom?
So if you want to tear up a little bit, go ahead and watch it 12:35 p.m. A Rainy Day in New York, a 2019 American romantic comedy film written and directed by Woody Allen.
Woody Allen.
Yeah. Should be a good one.
Such a strange character. And his films are odd too. Some of them I love, and some of them I'm like, I didn't get that.
Yeah, maybe he didn't have the mood at that period of time. So watch this movie at 3:45 p.m., A Rainy Day in New York. And the last one, Gemini Man, a 2019 American action thriller film, 5:55 p.m. And I think Man in Black actor
Will Smith.
Will Smith, yes,
okay,
thank you.
I know him as the Fresh Prince.
Yes, starring Will Smith. What we have in opera and ballet. Masquerade Ballet in 2 acts, October 16th at 7 p.m. That's all we have for the upcoming week. And now, Master Steve, please share with us.
Live music around town. We've got the Hot and Roll Band at Uli Hanyan Club on October 13th. On October 13th, we also have live stream by Sirbuk at Kami Club. Offside live at the venue on October 13th at 9 p.m. And they're a local rock band. The band with Karina Arustamian is at Mezzo on October 14th at 8:30. Garan Gregorian Quartet is at Uliahanyan Club on October 16th. October Crazy Vibes with Garik and Sona is at Kami Club on October 16th. Arto and the Armenian Navy Band, they are at Jan's Music Club on October 17th. We've got Golsuljan live at Vahagni on October 17th at 8 p.m. The Dialogue Project is at Ulihanyan on October 18th. Reincarnation Orchestra is at Mezzo on October 18th. Manu Khazarian Group at Ulihanyan on October 20th. Goran Bregovic and the Armenian Symphonic, it's ASO. I forget what that stands for. The Armenian
ASSO.
Yeah, I forget now. It's the youth orchestra. It used to be called the youth orchestra. Student orchestra. Yeah, anyway. The concert will take place at the SCC Concert Hall in Yerevan. Yes, and we've got. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's what we've got.
That's all we had, and I'd like to remind that there is Yerevan Marathon 2019, October 13th, which is tomorrow, and which is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy coming birthday.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, but,
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Ina.
Oh, thank you. It's tomorrow, Steven. And you can sing it at 12 at midnight.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys, the Armenians have a thing about early birthday stuff. It's supposed to be like bad luck.
And doing surprises in the middle of night that people always expect.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have to surprise you, but you know it's coming.
Yeah. And I'm kind of waiting for it. Oh, it's 12. Nobody knocks on the door with balloons and the cake and oh, well. Well, thank you, Stephen. And thanks to all the listeners for being with us this Saturday. And I hope that you have a great end of the week.
Have a good end of the weekend. Any of you that are doing the run tomorrow, good luck to you.
Yeah.
And
run, Forrest.
We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week. Hugs to all of you, and see you. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you. Well, you'll see us, and maybe we'll see you out and about. If you see us walking down the street, stop us and say hi or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, this is Ina MK and Master Steve.
Good night,
signing
guys.
off for this week for the Great American Weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.